Who said Torid is broken? Torid's pretty balanced, look at that. Nothing wrong for me. Everything seems perfectly fine. That's just like steel pot, around like 150 level. Nothing crazy. And you can always pretend to be Gandalf and do the "you shall not pass" scene. Holy fuck, I could have do it like all day long, not gonna lie. It's addicting. But look this. Acceltra is also pretty broken. Dual Ichor is pretty broken. I love to run this extermination bounties with Acceltra. It's making quick work of it, not gonna lie. I love that they finally added steel pot bounties. But what if I told you that you can melt 200 plus on steel pot, corrupted heavy gunners with any weapon? And this is exactly what Saryn is made for. It doesn't matter really which helmet you're gonna use, or if you're gonna use range or full ability strength and duration like I do, because I'm just too lazy to press spores. See, I don't really like to play spores build because the only nerf to Saryn is another Saryn, at least if both of them play spores build. So I just made a build like this, and that's a full weapon platform build. I use several different helmets, but I truly believe that Roar is just by far the best helmet for Saryn. And that's because of the damage over time double dipping with Roar working like the faction mod. While you don't have to use those shitty faction mods that I know everyone hates, and I do myself as well. I know that they are broken, but they are broken as long as you remember to swap them, and that's definitely not my thing. I just love to be able to have one build that I can use wherever I go. This is like my thing. This is what I really like to have with my weapons. So you either go Roar and build Viral on your weapon, or you go Nourish, and you do whatever the fuck you want with your weapon mods really. The most important part of it is to have Venom Dose, Toxiclash, and your 4th buff up at all times, and you need 2 green Archon shards for the corrosive stacks to get them up to 14. And for the arcanes, you use Avenger if you use weapon that benefits from crit, Arcane Acceleration, or Arcane Fury, depending if you're using rifle or you more of a melee guy. If you're using something like dual Toxocyst, you can use Arcane Velocity, Arcane Precision, anything for the secondaries then. It's pretty simple. Most of the time in Warframe the crit is broken, so Avenger is quite the universal arcane, but it's one of the most expensive of course, because it's one of the best arcanes as well. So you just go with whatever you can afford. Multi Augmented, Arcane Acceleration, Arcane Rage, Arcane Rise, whatever you have at your disposal, you can go with it. And this is exactly the beauty of Saryn, because no matter what you're gonna use, she's gonna be very good and she's gonna buff weapons to the point that every single weapon is gonna be viable. The personal best you can do, in my opinion at least, is Torid with Viral on it, with Roar build, Arcane Acceleration, Arcane Avenger, with the finishing touch in the form of 2 green Archon shards for the armor strip, and 3 green Archon shards for the damage over time from Toxin. And you don't need any Riven for it. You only need those Archon shards and Viral on Torid, while having that Roar. So if you don't have Avenger, it will not be a big change in the fucking damage output or anything. It's just min-maxing it. Just the sole fact that Torid has such a big status chance and it has that innate toxin on it, it's what makes it broken. So with Arcane Acceleration, which isn't that expensive, you will get so much fire rate and so much status that Torid will nearly instantly strip everything and put 10 virals on it, if anything is able to survive till then. So basically, that build is gonna be fully viable only on level cap where your toxin damage over time will be able to shine, because most of the time everything just literally disappears before you get any like toxin to do damage over time. The most important part of the build is to have the brief respite, because it's a big part of your survival. Because Mold has no animation, no casting time, you just spam it and you get those shields back. And shield gating on her is just all you really need, because she just kills and annihilates everything around. You can play the range for spores if you want to, which is just gonna bring even more fucking destruction all around. I use this build with Zata's Whisper to kill, for example, the 60i boss on Steel Path, which I have like 2 videos doing it on Saryn on my channel if you wanna check it out. And that's the only reason I have Zata's Whisper on her. It just basically allows you to slightly bypass the DPS limit that is set to the boss. It's not really important or that much needed to Umbra Forma your Saryn. She's just my second favorite, so my Umbra Formas obviously were instantly dedicated to her. I use preparation only because I don't have Prime Surefooted yet, and it's purely because of the quality of life. I just like to start the mission with energy full. So for the focus school, I'd be using Madurai or Unairu. Unairu is simply to transfer it out and in and out to get that knockdown immunity, and Madurai is if you play high ability duration, you just swap to your operator form, you slink twice, and then you buff. And this is the build for a companion you should be using, and that companion being Warframe Prime. Why Warframe Prime, you asking? It's just because how easy it is to get over 1.2k max shields on that companion. And why you need 1.2k shields on the companion? To activate one of the best possible bond mods you can have on your companion whenever you're using any kind of primary or secondary weapon. And that obviously being reinforced bond. You get 1.2k max shields on your worm, you put this, and you have free 60% fire rate. But why Warframe Prime? It's just because it's like Roar, it double dips. It comes in a full package with Prime Laser Rifle. But why does that matter? Simply because Prime Laser Rifle has 15% critical strike chance. And if you wonder why does it matter, it's simply because it's really easy to get 50% critical strike chance on that particular weapon. Although you will still need any kind of critical strike chance Riven mod. So you can leave it for the later part of your gameplay once you get your hands on any kind of like Riven, and you can roll it a little bit to get at least any kind of like critical strike chance, because you're gonna end up on 40 after you add critical delay. And you need all of this simply to activate second best mod you can use for your weapons, which is Tenacious Bond. That one works well for both melees and any kind of like secondary primary weapon. So if you have some Burston or some Latron with crazy ass Riven for critical damage, you're gonna end up having like close up to 20x multiplier on your weapons. This is how it looks like once you get all of that sorted. So let's start with the most balanced weapon in the game. You all know which one is that. Oh, well, that was quick. And I picked Zata's Whisper not to make it look too broken. My personal favorite. I have like a weak spot inside for Soma Prime. Although this build is flawed because I don't have viral on the weapon, nor I'm not using my Nourish. But I don't think it really matters, as you can see. Keep in mind those are Steel Pad version Corrupted Heavy Gunner Eximus on 205 level. That's by far the most tanky unit I can spawn in my Simulacrum. Who the fuck said Soma Incarnon is bad? Also for the fan favorite, Burston Prime. I forgot to swap my Zata's Whisper again, out of laziness really. But that's a great occasion to show you that it doesn't really matter what's the third buff you have. Now, Acceltra Prime, that weapon never is like good into tanky units, unless you shoot with Saryn. So I think I will change the build a little bit to get some more magazine capacity. And quickly, one more time Acceltra Prime, because just how often and how like everywhere I use it. That's the best on Saryn for speed AoE kill. Ignis, probably most common new player weapon. And on that one I definitely should have been using Nourish, but I guess Zata's also able to do the work. Remember, this is a new player weapon versus 205 level Steel Pad enemies. And while I was recording that video, just to prove that this is just amazing Warframe for the weapons, I thought of like making some meme build with Grakata with just like purely some stupid ass fire rate, and let's see if it's gonna do the work of the enemy. That's a weapon that I tried at first and I thought like, damn, that's a trash one. And luckily this time I didn't forget to bring my Nurijin, and to be fair, I'm not even surprised. Up to Violet Argon Shards to get some extra electricity damage for the Grakata, but since I got also my Saryn invigorated, I thought that's like a far overkill. I also decided to give another shot for Ignis with my Nourish, and since I had my critical strike invigoration, I just swapped to full fire rate, just because I kinda prefer the flamethrower in a fire rate mode. I was a bit afraid that my invigoration might ruin the test a little bit, so I threw away the critical damage as well. And to no one's surprise, Ignis still completely wrecks the enemies. For the melee fans out there, here's two weapons that I personally prefer on the Saryn, which is Xoris, Electricity first proc, so I just put melee influence on, and gas. And yeah, melees are broken. One more for those who missed it, just to let you know, I'm not getting my power throw stacks up. Now for the second weapon, Pestilence Spreader, aka Dual Ichor. Try not to instantly kill the units, so you can have any kind of like view on what's happening, but it's gonna be quite hard. As I said before, melees are broken. Any builds that you saw in the video, they are not the builds you should use. I just wanna show you that it doesn't matter what build you use, as long as you use the weapon on Saryn. Luckily I just didn't insta-kill all of them. But let's use Gotva now, because the passive on it is one of the best sides of Saryn. And that is because every single multi-shot has forced proc of Toxin, which can activate Gotva's passive for a 300% critical strike chance on the next shot, which is tier 3 of the crit. Therefore, you don't need anything on Gotva besides fire rate and some elemental damage. Just remember that any weapon you build, if you put Toxin mods, it scales Toxic Clash a lot, so you will even get more broken damage. That's just a small info in case you don't know what to build on your weapons. Damn, Latron Incarnon seems to be pretty fun, not gonna lie. That bouncy attack looks pretty fun for some map tiles, not gonna lie. Let's do one of the OG Incarnons that are pretty easy to get. I'm kinda nerfing it with my invigoration for the primary crit, because I'm using the damage increase on non-criticals, but you know, it's still gonna wreck everything I touch, so... And well, just as I said, I love Phenmor. Phenmor is one of my favorite, even though it's like one of the OGs. I like the fact that you can use both damage increase on non-crits and the critical build for Phenmor. Convectrix. Does anyone even remember that weapon? Damn, that's one of my favorites by far. Just remember that you need the efficient beams, so you can always walk with the fucking fire button mashed in and just lose ammo only when you do damage. But also gives you some crazy status chance. Damn, Convectrix is such a fun weapon, I missed it kinda. I need to fuck with it a little bit. This shit looks like you had scissors and you try to cut their heads off with them. Let's try Cedo with the alternate fire. It has like a big struggle against Eximus units because of the overguard. And let's give a shot to the spores and see how they work. Then Cedo alternate fire has quite a struggle into this overguard, but you can always use the main shot. Even though the moment overguard is off, it deals with them pretty easily. But just look the difference when you use the main fire. The alternate fire idea was always just to be like a crazy priming option. Since Cedo passive is getting the damage increase like Galvanese Subdued mod, And just look the stats Cedo has on the alternate fire. That's not that impressive. It's purely made to be a primer, not a damage source. But still, with Saryn, it can clearly kill. And now also one of my favorite weapons, I don't know why, but it's one of my favorites, which is Baza. I don't know, I just like the feel of the weapon, although without Saryn it's pretty damn lackluster weapon. And I need to build some magazine capacity on the build, cause fuck me, the weapon goes out of ammo insta. Let's see how Rubico will do. God damn it, it feels so shit when I don't punch through into heads. I mean, you cannot tell me that punch through is working as it's supposed to. I refuse to believe it works as it's supposed to. Let's see how it works with Kuva Hek, the weapon I was using to one-shot Archons. I guess it should be pretty good since I was using it to, well, one-shot Archons. I mean, look at that, punch through is a lie. And for the fans of the secondaries there, I don't forget about you guys, don't worry. I only forgot to put any arcanes relevant to the secondaries, but you know, Saryn, doesn't really matter. And what better weapon than Laetum to finish the video off? One of the OGs. It's literally a Phenmor in a pistol version, I'm gonna lie. And as always, I hope you liked the video. And if you did, please like, comment, share and subscribe. And see ya in the next one.